Hey, what's going on? It's Andre Capel here. I just wanted to talk about maybe not purchasing a property under an LLC or a company to start off with. Getting the property under your name as an investment property. Well, after I purchased my primary residence and fixed that up, I ended up getting a investment property with the mortgage under my name. I didn't have an LLC or anything like that created at the time, and it worked out better for me. So I just wanted to talk about that. I know there's a lot of investment videos where you are kind of pushed into that method because that guy might own a bunch of property and that's how he decided to structure his business. But somebody just starting out, I think it will serve them better as long as they have a decently paying job to get the mortgage under your name. A lot of times the rates are going to be a lot lower, which is going to mean more cash flow, more money in your pocket. And when you're going to need that, especially when you are first starting out, because you might not see things coming. If your job is decent and you can qualify for the loan, what you're gonna have to do is take full liability if something does happen. That's the reason a lot of people want to own properties in LLCs, the limited liability company part, that's really the main reason. And just on a side note, if you're opening your LLC with one of those places like, what did I use? LegalZoom, you're still gonna have to publish. You're gonna have to make sure you publish in a newspaper for at least 2 weeks. If you do not, then you do not get the limited part of the limited liability company. You could be in a situation where all you opened your LLC for is just the financing aspect, like to be able to get the bank account and everything separate. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the limited liability part, it's not separate. It's just the illusion of it being separate, because once one gets put in jeopardy, the other one is going to be affected by it. Make sure you're structuring everything you need correctly, because there's the ability to do things online, but sometimes you just want to go, like, I'm no professional. Sometimes you want to go, you talk to an accountant, and you talk to somebody that is a professional, and it's going to be worth the whatever hundreds of dollars they charge an hour, because that's going to set you up for a lifetime in going in the right direction instead of just being exposed and not knowing it. Moving past that, so yeah, the liability part you don't really need when you're first setting out. I didn't have one when I first set out. I went with, I think it's just called an investment property loan. And for me, I already had a mortgage, so I wasn't sure if I was going to have to go the LLC route, to be honest with you, because already having a mortgage, even though my job at the time, it was good and it was a W-2 job, which makes it even easier, I feel like, to qualify. What ended up qualifying me though was the rents. So I was forgetting that on investment loans, when you do your debt to income ratio, and what debt to income means is just your gross income, and then they divide it by your total outgoing expenses, and then you get a ratio. So I don't even know what it is now, but when I was going for the loan, it was a 45% DTI that you couldn't go above. I was at 50, and that wasn't including the rents though. So once I added the rents into my total income, then it went up significantly, because each floor, you have to go by market rent, and each floor's market rent was $950, and the mortgage was $765. That just made it so much easier to qualify, and that would have also been an awesome candidate to qualify for the debt service coverage ratio. The debt service coverage ratio loan would have worked great here because of the spread between what the mortgage is and the income that the place would produce. why I went with the investment loan with me being the owner instead of LLC. I went with that loan because the rate I got was 3.87, and then only 8 months later I did get one of those loans under the LLC, the debt service coverage ratio loan, and that rate was 7.4. It still works, and that place was a headache. I had to go unconventional with the financing because I purchased it with the tenant inside, and that tenant was uncooperative. Finally, she's out, and that place is going to start being really in the positive. I wasn't coming out of pocket for that property for the 2 years that we were dealing with the tenant upstairs not paying. The downstairs apartment being rented completely covered everything, which was great, but you don't buy a place, to not make money, to break even. That's never fun. I'll have another video coming out about how she called code on me because we won in court, and she was asked to leave. But yeah, the rate was a 7.4 on the LLC loan. The personal loan rate was a 3.8. You're gonna have to pay more. I heard this is only in the beginning though. I'm still very new. I think as you go on and you show a track record with these loans, it does come down. But at the very least, it trains you to find the better deal, because you shouldn't compromise how much you want to make just because the rate's higher. If you want to make $500 a door and the rate is 12% you're getting, it depends on if you really want the property go down maybe to $400 a door to meet your criteria. But for me, I wouldn't compromise it. I would be like, okay, so I'm not buying until I can find a really, 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 really good deal. But I would still buy, just have a goal, have a criteria, and whether a property meets your criteria or not is how you buy.